I know Muhammad Ali had a big impact on your life, and would love to hear your thoughts. First time you met him, where were you? What was that like?
Well, I have a great first time I met him. I was being recruited by Louisville, and in high school, and Denny Crum and their entire coaching staff. When they did their house visit, they looked at my room, and the only posters I had on my wall were Muhammad Ali. I didn't have a basketball player, a baseball player, or anything. It was just Ali. And I'm sitting at home, 3 or 4 days later, and the phone rings, and it's Ali on the phone. So that was my first, I guess, meeting with him, which was for a young kid who idolized him. I mean, I cried the night that he lost to Joe Frazier. So he's had a huge impact on my life. I think he's had an impact on a lot of people's lives, and not just from boxing. It's more, his humanitarian role. And, I think for black kids growing up in that time in the 70s, I think he made it all right. I said something similar that, you were all right for me to be me. You never thought that you were good enough, growing up at times as a kid. And I think Ali just made it all right for you to be you. And I thought that was awesome from him.
Why? And then you have to say no to Louisville after that?
Yeah, and they win the national championship that year. Only one guy leaves, and I could have just slipped right in. But listen, Al McGuire and Rick Majerus and Hank Raymond, they're better recruiters, I guess.
Oh, then Ali's the greatest, promoter of all time. So does he?
Yeah.
How long does the conversation last where Ali's trying to recruit you to Louisville?
Well, it didn't last. It lasted probably a minute, 2 minutes, and he really talked more just about, he asked me any question I wanted to ask him, and what is a high school kid? You're nervous as heck. So, you're the typical stupid questions that a kid would ask is what you would ask.
What did you ask him?
Well, the first thing was I asked him, how tall is he? It's a dumb question. How long are your arms? I mean, when you hang up the phone and you think about it later, you're like, wow, I blew that opportunity in a big way.
You could have asked him, what's it feel like to get punched by Joe Frazier? Or
I wanted to ask that. I actually told my friends I did want to ask that, but I didn't have the courage to.
So do you tell your family? Like, does your family know that Ali's on the phone?
Oh yeah, my mom and dad did.
Oh,
it was awesome, and obviously they were going crazy. Back then there was only one phone in your house.
Yeah.
It's not like we had a cell phone. There was a phone that was on the wall, and that's the phone I'm talking on. You think about it, there was a 50% chance that the phone could have been busy because everyone's phone was busy back in that day.
Well, plus if you had two phones in the house, they could have listened in on the conversation.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. That's the great thing about cell phones. I'll say that.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings on Audience.